you have favorites. LaDainian Tomlinson was a favorite for me. I loved him like he was my own.
31 touchdowns? 31 touchdowns in one season? It's a crazy number.
Look at the score, man. We're getting our ass kicked. Why you messing with them?
LaDainian Tomlinson. Was he really the last complete running back? December 10th, 2006. Qualcomm Stadium. San Diego is rolling on Denver. The AFC West title is sitting right there for the taking, and everybody in the building knows exactly what's about to happen. LaDainian Tomlinson is 3 touchdowns away from breaking the NFL's single-season touchdown record. The fans know it. The broadcast knows it. The Broncos' defense knows it. And it doesn't matter one bit. Handoff, 6 yards, touchdown, tied the record.
2nd and goal, Tomlinson. Tomlinson's in to match the record.
47 seconds later, Denver fumbles. San Diego's offense trots right back out. Handoff, 7 yards, touchdown, record broken.
Tomlinson off the left side. Tomlinson sidesteps. Hello, history books.
His own linemen hoist him onto their shoulders like he just won a title belt. Ball in one hand, index finger pointed at the sky with the other. The crowd stops cheering and starts chanting, LT, LT. Then it turns into MVP, MVP.
You know, with the score the way it is, 41-20, well, I guess they want to get this record to...
Final score, 48-20. His 29th touchdown of the season in a year he'd finish with 31 total touchdowns, 1,815 rushing yards, and an MVP trophy that 44 out of 50 voters didn't even have to think about. It was all about clinching. I didn't think I'd get it that day, Tomlinson said afterward. Sit with that. The single most dominant scoring season any running back has ever produced, and the man living it didn't think it was going to happen that afternoon. It just happened anyway, because that's what he did every week for years.
They give it to Tomlinson. He's inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, San Diego.
Here's the question this entire video is built around, and it's not the one you think. It's not, was LaDainian Tomlinson great? Everybody agrees on that. The real question is harder. Was he the last one? The last running back an entire NFL franchise was willing to build its red zone offense, its passing game safety valve, and its championship hopes around. One single player carrying every job at once. LaDainian Tomlinson was not the last great running back. He was the last one complete enough for the NFL to ask him to be everything.
3rd and 3, and that pass is caught by Tomlinson. And here goes touchdown number 101.
And as you're about to see, the last one punished when everything still wasn't enough. So how does a kid from a Texas town too small to have its own hospital become that guy? Why did San Diego almost draft a different player completely? A quarterback who would have changed football history. This is the story of LaDainian Tomlinson, the running back who broke football by being the last man the league trusted to play every part of his position at once. The kid who broke college football. LaDainian Tomlinson was born June 23, 1979, in Central Texas, and raised around Marlin and Waco. His dad, Oliver, worked construction until a back injury ended that. His mom, Lorianne, would go on to become a pastor. The marriage didn't survive the financial strain, and by 1986, Oliver was mostly gone. Lorianne raised the kids on faith and sheer stubbornness, bouncing the family between Marlin and Waco. Tomlinson was good in high school, not a 5-star can't-miss recruit, just second-team All-State and a kid the big programs mostly ignored. Texas Christian University, a school that hadn't mattered on a Saturday afternoon in decades, was one of the only ones that wanted him. Fast forward to November 20th, 1999, Fort Worth, Texas. TCU hosting UTEP. Tomlinson is a junior, a first-year starter, and through 3 quarters he's having a good day. Not a historic one, a good one. Reporters in the press box are already drafting the story in their heads. Solid game. Bowl eligibility clinched. On to next week. Then the fourth quarter starts, and something snaps loose. He breaks a 70-yard touchdown run, blowing past 2 defensive backs, and that alone shatters a 15-year-old TCU single-season rushing record.
I'd say this is going to work pretty well. LaDainian's going to go 89.
Nice vision. How about finding that hole to the right side, then letting the speed just flow, Coach?
The very next time he touches the ball, he does it again. 63 yards, untouched, into the end zone. Back-to-back touchdown runs of 70 and 63 yards. The press box stops writing the bowl eligibility story and starts pulling out record books. By the time TCU's lead ballooned to 45-24, most coaches would have pulled their star and protected him for next week. Tomlinson was sitting at 399 yards. TCU head coach Dennis Franchione sent him back out anyway, telling reporters he just wanted to get him his record. One more carry, 7 yards, 406 total.
Tomlinson, big hole, 40, watch out, 50, Tomlinson sheds a tackle, and he'll take it to the zone.
NCAA Division 1A record broken. 6 touchdowns on the day, 43 carries. A performance later called flat out one of the greatest single-game efforts in college football history. Then he did something that told you everything you needed to know about who this kid was. Standing in front of reporters after rewriting the record book with his own legs,
Tomlinson didn't talk about himself. All the credit goes to the offensive line, he said, then joked that he owed them a steak dinner. A senior season later, he became only the second player in college football history to crack 2,000 rushing yards in one season and 5,000 for a career.
Tomlinson, watch out, 20, he'll be gone if he beats one, 50, Tomlinson, oh my goodness.
He finished 4th in Heisman voting, 4th out of a school nobody outside Fort Worth could find on a map. The NFL was about to find out the hard way that overlooked and limited are not the same thing. But first, San Diego had to make a decision that would have erased this entire story before it started. The franchise bet. Heading into the 2001 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers owned the #1 overall pick, the single most valuable asset in the sport. Sitting right there on the board was Michael Vick, the most electric, can't-miss quarterback prospect to enter the league in years. San Diego had a problem, though. 3 years earlier, the team had handed quarterback Ryan Leaf an $11.2 million signing bonus, and Leaf became one of the most spectacular busts in NFL history. The front office was gun-shy about doing that again. Team president Dean Spanos told reporters flatly, "We want Michael. We really like Michael," but made clear the team wasn't paying a rookie quarterback that kind of money twice. The Atlanta Falcons were desperate to move up and grab Vick. They offered the #5 overall pick, a third-round pick, a future second-rounder, and a wide receiver, all for San Diego's #1 pick. San Diego said yes. Atlanta got their quarterback. San Diego walked away with extra draft capital and used the 5th pick on Tomlinson.
With the 5th pick in the first round of the 2001 draft, the San Diego Chargers select LaDainian Tomlinson, running back from TCU.
2 rounds later, almost as an afterthought, they grabbed a Purdue quarterback named Drew Brees. Sit with that. The Chargers traded away the most hyped quarterback prospect in years, specifically to build around a small school running back, and came out of the deal with more draft picks. It became one of the rare #1 pick trades where the team moving down may have walked away with the better franchise story. Tomlinson made the front office look like geniuses immediately. As a rookie, behind a creaky offense with an aging Doug Flutie at quarterback, he ripped off 412 yards and 6 touchdowns in his first 4 NFL games.
First and goal from the 3. Tomlinson is in for the touchdown.
finishing the year with 1,236 yards and 10 scores. Runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was good with Flutie. The real question was whether he'd still be this good once San Diego found him a real quarterback. That question was about to get answered with a stat line that had never existed before: the secret proof. By 2003, Tomlinson stopped being a really good running back and became something the league had no answer for. That season, 1,645 rushing yards and 100 catches for 725 receiving yards, 2,370 yards from scrimmage.
2nd and goal. Tomlinson, touchdown, San Diego.
Nobody in NFL history had ever combined a 1,000-yard rushing season with 100 receptions. Tomlinson did it like it was nothing. If 2006 would later prove LT could be the most valuable player in football,
There's the pass to LaDainian Tomlinson, and there he goes! On a foot race with Knight, in for 6! What a call!
2003 quietly proved he might have been the most complete one. Most fans don't even remember this season. That's the point. It wasn't loud. It was just impossible. And here's a date worth remembering. October 16th, 2005. Raiders at Chargers. Tomlinson scores once as a runner, then once as a receiver. Then San Diego dials up a play that sounds like a joke until you remember who they had. Tomlinson takes the ball and throws a touchdown pass himself. Running back, receiver, quarterback. In one afternoon, he played all three.
Here's Tomlinson, throws a pass! Touchdown, Peel!
And Oakland just had to pretend that was normal. He joined one of the rarest clubs in NFL history. Players who rushed for a touchdown, caught one, and threw one in the same game. And his 7 career passing touchdowns are the second most by any running back since the merger, trailing only Walter Payton. This was the season the league had to start paying what we'll call the LT tax. Load the box, and he kills you on a check down. Play light, and he runs through your nickel package. Sell out for the pass, and he breaks a draw for 60. Every week, somebody paid that tax in points. A rookie tight end named Antonio Gates joined San Diego that same year and went on to catch more touchdown passes than any tight end in history. Gates gave the offense a second weapon. Tomlinson was still the bigger one. Quarterbacks changed around him constantly. Flutie, then Breeze, then Rivers. Coordinators changed. The one constant was number 21. Between 2004 and 2005, he scored a touchdown in 18 straight games, tying a record set by Baltimore Colts legend Lenny Moore that had stood since the 1960s.
Oh, what a move by LaDainian Tomlinson! Oh, my!
From 2001 through 2008, he rushed for at least 1,000 yards in 8 consecutive seasons. No load management, no maintenance days, just show up and dominate. He'd already proven he was complete. Now football was about to find out exactly how valuable that completeness could be. The public proof. By the start of 2006, defensive coordinators around the league weren't game planning for a player anymore. They were game planning for a problem they already knew they couldn't solve. At first, it just looked like another great Tomlinson season. Then, a rushing title season. By mid-season, it had turned into a touchdown chase.
Pass is caught by Tomlinson, and here goes touchdown number 101.
By November, LT scoring wasn't a highlight anymore. It was part of the schedule.
The question stopped being whether San Diego would reach the red zone. It became how long the defense could keep pretending it had a choice. The full season tells the story better than any single highlight. 1,815 rushing yards, 28 rushing touchdowns, an NFL record, 3 more through the air, 31 total touchdowns, 186 points scored by one human being, more than some entire franchises managed that year. 10 new NFL records set in a single season. Earlier that same year, he'd already become the fastest player in league history to reach 100 career touchdowns in just 89 games.
Looking to pass, and he'll go towards the end zone. Thomas in the jungle. He's
He doubled up the rushing title the following year with 1,474 more yards in 2007. Every touchdown made the same argument a little louder. If the entire league knows exactly who is getting the ball, every single play, and still can't stop him, what else are you supposed to call that, besides the most valuable player in football?
3rd and goal. Tomlinson goes airborne for the touchdown.
The Associated Press agreed. This was supposed to be the season that protected his legacy forever. The MVP trophy, the 14-2 record, the best team in football. This was supposed to be the year the numbers finally turned into a ring. Instead, it became the beginning of the argument people still use against him. That's what made him different. He wasn't old school or modern, he was both. He could survive the old NFL, where backs took 25 hits a week between the tackles, and he could thrive in the new NFL, where backs had to become receivers, motion pieces, and coverage problems.
Looking to pass, and he'll float it towards the end zone. Tomlinson a juggle. He got it. He's in the end zone again.
LT was the bridge between two NFL eras, the old school workhorse and the modern receiving weapon. That's why complete means more with him than it does with almost any back who came after. That's what complete really meant with LT. It wasn't just talent, it was trust. San Diego trusted him with the dirty work and the highlight work, the short yardage carries and the passing game bailout, the red zone identity and the weekly workload. A lot of backs can do pieces of that. LT was asked to do all of it every Sunday, without the offense ever changing its identity to protect him. Completeness isn't just skill set. Completeness is job description.
Pitch back to LT. Faking left, cutting right. Up the middle, into the end zone. San Diego's got the lead. Incredible!
The position fractures. So let's settle that argument right now, starting with the one name that actually threatens this thesis, Marshall Faulk. If you want to argue Tomlinson wasn't the last complete running back, Faulk is the name you bring up. Not because he ran for more yards or scored more touchdowns, he didn't do either, but because he changed the job description first. League MVP, Super Bowl champion, the first player in NFL history to hit 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards in the same season.
And a give to Marshall Faulk. Looks right, cuts up the middle to the 40. He's at the 30, jerks away. He may score. Cuts back at the 15, the 10, the 5, end zone.
Faulk is the prototype. But did he create the blueprint, or did Tomlinson become the final, finished version of it? Faulk had the greatest show on turf around him, Kurt Warner throwing, Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt pulling safeties out of the box. Tomlinson had to become the safety valve, the touchdown machine, and the rushing engine, often in the same game, with a far thinner supporting cast for most of his prime. Faulk proved the position could carry a passing game. Tomlinson proved one man could carry an entire offense by himself.
And there he goes! LT! Touchdown Chargers!
That's not dismissing Faulk. That's the real fight. Faulk built the blueprint. Tomlinson built the tallest monument anyone's ever built on top of it, and after him, the league stopped trying to build that high again. Look at what happened to the position next. Power went to backs like Derrick Henry, but nobody's throwing him 100 passes a season. Receiving value went to backs like Christian McCaffrey, deployed in packages instead of grinding out 300 carries between the tackles. Pure between the tackles running went to backs like Adrian Peterson, the best pure runner of his generation, but never the every-week receiving threat Tomlinson was. Tomlinson did all three jobs himself, every season. After LT, the position didn't disappear. It fractured into specialists. He didn't get replaced. He got divided up and handed out in pieces. McCaffrey is the closest modern echo, maybe the only one. But even his career proves how rare this has become, because every conversation around him eventually turns to management, injury risk, touches, and how long a team can afford to build that way. The league doesn't build around complete backs anymore. It manages them, protects them, and pays them like a risk instead of a foundation. In 2023, two of the league's best backs, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, got hit with one-year franchise tags instead of long-term deals. Tomlinson was the last back who made that kind of disrespect sound impossible. All of that makes his resume look airtight, except football doesn't hand out clean endings. And the very season that proved he was the most valuable player in football.
Rivers handoff. Tomlinson up the middle. He's got it! Triple digits! Touchdown, LaDainian Tomlinson!
Is also where the wound starts. The argument that haunts him. That was the moment the LT story split in two. Before that game, he was the MVP who made the impossible feel routine. After it, he became the superstar with the one question every critic could keep asking. Why didn't it turn into January? San Diego, the best team in the NFL that season, lost their very first playoff game to the New England Patriots, 24-21, at home. After the final whistle, several Patriots players mocked the signature sack dance of San Diego's own star linebacker right at midfield. Tomlinson had to be physically restrained. They showed no class, he said afterward. Less than a month later, Marty Schottenheimer, the coach who had just delivered the best regular season in franchise history, was fired. A 14-2 team, one home playoff loss, the coach gone within the week. LT's signature season got stapled to that chaos, with no clean ending. Then, shortly after collecting his MVP trophy, real tragedy landed. In February 2007, Tomlinson's father, Oliver, was killed when the truck he was riding in flipped on a Texas highway. My father and I had a great relationship, Tomlinson said in a brief statement, devastated by the loss. He carried that grief straight into another rushing title. That's the part people forget when they talk about carrying a franchise. Sometimes the weight isn't just football. Sometimes the man carrying the offense is also carrying grief nobody in the stadium can see. The peak came with a bill attached, and the bill wasn't fully paid yet. January 20th, 2008, the AFC Championship game, Gillette Stadium. San Diego finally had a real shot at the Super Bowl against an undefeated New England team chasing history. Tomlinson walked in nursing a sprained MCL from the week before. His own quarterback, Philip Rivers, played that night on a torn ACL. His tight end, Antonio Gates, played on a dislocated toe. Tomlinson carried twice for 5 yards, caught one pass for one more, and his night was over. He sat alone on the bench the rest of the game, bundled in a parka, helmet on, dark visor hiding his face from a stadium that had no idea what was actually wrong with his knee. Rivers became a warrior story that night. Gates became a toughness story. Tomlinson became an image, a man frozen in a parka. And images are dangerous because they don't explain pain, they just freeze it. Critics tore into him for years over that picture. It's obvious that I couldn't play, Tomlinson said plainly afterward, adding that he would have been out there if his body had let him. Remember what we just spent an entire chapter proving. Falk had Warner, Bruce, and Holt. Tomlinson had himself. He was the plan. Every single week for 9 straight seasons. A player only becomes that singular point of failure when he's been asked to be the single point of everything else first. The cruelest part of LT's legacy is that people used the one day his body would not let him be complete as proof that he somehow wasn't. The last back the NFL trusted. LaDainian Tomlinson retired after the 2011 season, 5th all-time in rushing yards, with no championship ring and no regrets about how he got there. In 2017, the Hall of Fame made it official on the first ballot. He didn't use his speech to talk about touchdown records. He spent 6 of his 26 minutes talking about his great-great-great-grandfather, a man brought to this country in chains, whose owner's last name Tomlinson still carries today. My story is America's story, he told a crowd giving him standing ovation after standing ovation.
The story of a man I never met, my great-great-great-grandfather George. 170 years ago, George was brought here in chains on a slave ship from West Africa. His last name, Tomlinson, was given to him by the man who owned him.
The NFL did not run out of talented running backs after LaDainian Tomlinson. It ran out of belief.
Belief that one single player could run through you, run around you, catch behind you, protect beside you, score over you, and still be standing in January carrying the whole thing on his back. LaDainian Tomlinson was not the last great running back. He was the last one complete enough for the league to ask him to be everything, and the last one punished when everything still wasn't enough. Categories don't get complete, players do. LaDainian Tomlinson was complete, and nobody's built another one since. If this deep dive into LaDainian Tomlinson, was he really the last complete running back, hit you the way it hit us, smash that like button and subscribe for more hard-hitting NFL documentaries every week. Drop a comment below. Was LT really the last complete back, or just the last one given enough volume to look complete? Was Marshall Faulk the prototype and LT the final form, or does Christian McCaffrey still have a shot at proving otherwise?
End Zone Exposed is where the truth always scores.